Hey everyone, this is your host Brian, and welcome to episode 16. Today's topic, cannibalism. Every time I board a plane, I mentally prepare to sustain myself on human flesh, just in case we crash land on a deserted island. Here's why you should too. Find out about all that and more on this week's episode of the Pause Button Podcast.
I think that's pretty fair, actually.
You never know. You never know.
The problem is, Brian, that we're eating you first every time.
What?
Easily.
Do you think I would taste good?
No, you're pretty stringy, but honestly, I think overall...
You don't want to listen to me talk?
You're just not going to survive.
Well, then let me die on my own terms, you know?
Why?
Let nature take its course.
I don't think so, bud.
Before I become your main course.
Being overtaken by a more aggressive, person of the same species is that's nature in itself, right?
I think Tom would taste pretty good.
What?
Yeah. I think eating Tom wouldn't be a bad idea, no?
I think none of us look particularly good. I feel like I'd probably... after you're done with, and we're kind of waiting for who's going to go next, I think I'm going to kill Devontae in his sleep because he's definitely going to outlast everyone else. I feel like he's just in better shape, and I feel like, first of all, people in better shape have like a lot more muscles, so there's a lot more to eat, and just
You go to bed the first night after everybody crashes, and then you all kind of rest for a little bit, and you wake up the next day, and Devontae's got like a hut built. He's got like running electricity. Like, what did you do? So yeah, definitely first you, then Devontae. But now I've sold myself out, so Devontae's probably going to strangle me. Yeah. Every time we get on a plane, like Pat's just eyeing Devontae's got a knife ready to stab. Like the second the plane starts going down, he runs over and starts.
And that's how I'm the last survivor. I just squeak by unnoticed.
Yeah.
Also, I felt like you did that intro before. Like, that seemed like total deja vu to me. Maybe you've just, like, said that to me before, which is a little bit concerning, maybe.
Oh, did I?
I didn't recognize it as an intro.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. Oops. Today's topic, I have a terrible memory. So, speaking of memory, I write stuff down in notes so that I can know what's going on. And I have, 6 pages of notes, did I say?
Yeah.
6 pages of just the news. Today we're doing Fast with a PH news. And
it's not an exaggeration. He tried to make it seem better than it was, but it's a lot.
And I just started taking these notes maybe a week ago. It was the last week of news. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to set the timer.
It's going to be in how many minutes?
5 minutes I got set.
Can we do 30 instead or no?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to, just so you know, I'm going to get in a power nap.
Just a 5-minute power nap. Rest your eyes for a little bit.
Beautiful nap to
this
this
is
droning sound of Brian's voice.
This is all really interesting news. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Okay. All right. I'm about to... You good?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so shows. First off, Star Wars, Clone Wars Season 7's out. HBO Max locked down the Friends Reunion special. Netflix is remaking Masters of the Universe with Kevin Smith. They're also going to have Lena Headey in there. And Kevin Conroy, the Batman voice, is going to be there. As far as Netflix goes, they also got a movie about Pablo Escobar's zoo animals. They say it's Tropic Thunder and The Hangover together, and they're calling it Cocaine Hippos. I really want to see it. Even more with Netflix, they're working on animes for Diablo and Overwatch. And then also, there's some news about the Witcher series. They're casting Christopher Hivju, who was Tormund in Game of Thrones, along with some people for Lambert and Eskel and all the what's the word I'm looking for there? The Witchers. Yeah, they're all Witchers. Okay. Next, in terms of video games related to that, they made a documentary about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And that looked cool. E3 is dying. I was correct about that. Jeff Keighley is also skipping it this year. He was the host of like their big kind of event there. So him being gone, that's gonna be it. Also on the same day he announced that, they leaked their own website. I don't know how they did that, but it's really looking bad. It looks like it's dying. It's certainly more dead than rock and roll, Joey. Going on, we've got here. The Jedi Fallen Order video game sequel is in the works. Rainbow Six Siege is going to be brought over to the next generation. It'll be cross-platform. We also have Microsoft teaming up with Samsung for their xCloud technology, and Phil Spencer thinks that Google and Amazon are more their competition than Sony and Nintendo. PlayStation.
Get more Oz in there.
Did I get a lot? So, PlayStation 5 reportedly costs $450 to make, so people are unsure if they're going to try to sell that at a loss or, make it like a pretty expensive console. Coronavirus is ruining the next generation. It might slow production for those consoles. 3, okay, we're moving past video games. Moving on to music. My Chemical Countdown, it's still going strong. We got 199 days left until that. Let's see here. They're going to make a Ronnie James Dio feature-length documentary. And new music from Tame Impala, Nathaniel Rateliff, Not the Night Sweats, and Indie Darlings Beach Bunny. Movies. What do we have? Oh, Sony set a release date for October 8th, 2021. It's probably Carnage. That movie is looking ridiculously stacked already with Shang-Chi in February, Doctor Strange in May, Spider-Man in July, and Thor in November. 2021 is going to be amazing. Honey, I rebooted the kids. Rick Moranis is rebooting that with Disney. Cats failed abysmally in the box office. They're making a All Quiet on the Western Front film with the guy from the Civil War, Daniel Bruhl. Birds of Prey did meh. It's added some change its title. Pat's giving me some real attitude with his hand motions here. We also have the Oscars. The Oscars. I was right. All right, I was right about it. I predicted who would win and who would lose, and I predicted, guessed that Parasite would win Best Picture, that Joaquin Phoenix would be the actor, Renee Zellweger would be the actress, Toy Story 4 would be the animated film, cinematography would go to 1917, and Parasite would win international film, along with the song from Rocket Man, I'm Gonna Love Me Again, as the song. So I am a genius. Just have to put that out there. The test footage of Robert Pattinson's Bat outfit came out, and it looked pretty cool. He's got a motorcycle. And speaking of Batman, if you're curious as to why Affleck left the role, is apparently because of the troubled production of Justice League. And they're doing another Star Wars movie got announced, directed by J.D. Dillard, who did the movie called Slight, and it's written by Matt Owens, who did Luke Cage and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's supposed to be about Exegol, Palpatine's ultra spooky evil Sith planet from Episode 9. No? Rumor? Okay, that's a rumor. And if you're keeping track, Disney has dates for Star Wars movies in December of 2022, 24, and 26. My guess is that it's Rian Johnson's trilogy, but who knows? It could be anything at all. Also, for Marvel, Chris Pratt and Tom Holland said recently in an interview that they would love to do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign with fellow Avengers actors. I would love that. I'm pretty sure you guys would too. Let's see here. The rumors of a Mysterio movie with Jake Gyllenhaal that would be tied to the MCU, but again, that's just a rumor. And in the Far From Home, where the guy in what's that? When they were in Europe and the lady took his banana away, took Spider-Man's banana away, there was a kid in China who gave Tom Holland a banana, so he got his banana back. Finally, in Star Wars, Harrison Ford was recently interviewed about what he was doing in Episode 9. Was he a Force Ghost or not? And he's, in quotes, "A Force Ghost? I have no fucking idea what a Force Ghost is, and I don't care." Never change, Harrison Ford. Never change. And, other news, Batwoman, Catwoman.
No, you're done.
Oh,
you're done.
Damn it. All right.
People have to wonder about what you were going to say.
You might have saved some time if you cut out about maybe 60 of those
Did I really let that many out?
Yeah, every time you took a breath between thoughts for the next thing you need to say, you go, all
right. We're learning here. If you can't tell, I don't practice that. Maybe I should practice it.
It was good. Got a lot of information.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Little tidbits in there. Anything that you guys remember that you want to talk about?
Yeah, nope. I'm fairly certain the director.
All right, Devontae.
The director for the Star Wars movie, I believe that is confirmed. But I think he came out and said that the Exegol thing is fake.
Oh, okay.
It's not actually about Exegol.
Okay, that's good to know. I don't think anybody actually wanted that.
Specifically talking about the Oscars and how you were right about Parasite, I remember that made me mad because I didn't want you to be right.
Well, I was 9 out of 17 things.
Why, Joey? Do you think it should be white people winning always?
Oh my god!
Don't like Koreans.
I just don't want Brian to be right.
No, you just don't understand why they can't just speak English like the rest of us. Isn't that it, Joey?
Okay, all right. I'm gonna. That's good.
Oh, he's actually leaving. Okay, There was one thing I didn't get to, but this I do have to say.
No, you don't.
It's not
No.
news. It's not news.
Is it news?
It's not news.
The news, I'm leaving.
Recently, our friends over at the Mouth Breather podcast gave us a shout out on one of their episodes. We appreciate it, but if you could let your ship sink on its own without dragging us down with you, that would be great. Please keep our name out of your dirty mouths.
Don't say that. Please keep talking about us. We need all the listeners we can get. Brian doesn't speak for the rest of us. Obviously, he mostly us around.
Maybe that should be my name. I don't like
Us
Mr.
around.
Maybe if I was just the guy.
Brian Maloney.
No. No. All right, we're moving on. Welcome to the Pause Button Podcast. Every other week, your four favorite hosts, Pat, Joey, Devontae, and me, sometimes Tom, will discuss a pop culture topic, usually related to movies, music, shows, video games, or sometimes two of those. And we'll do our darndest to entertain you along the way. You can expect surprising facts, funny jokes, deeply depressing monologues, and of course, unrelated winty banter, and a few uhs on my part. So sit down, shut up, and open your ears. It's time to hit pause.
Still two time to hit pauses during an episode, huh?
We talked about that. I felt they gave a pretty good explanation to it. That's us hitting pause in everybody else's life so they can unwind and relax. And at the end, Devontae hits pause on our end and we flip it back to them.
I feel like I was convinced at the time, and it's gone away.
You were definitely convinced at the time. I remember you being like, okay, yeah, sure.
Today it's not working for you?
It's not today.
Well.
So what exactly are we going to talk about today?
So I mentioned that sometimes we have those topics and sometimes we have two topics. Today we're combining them. We're going to be talking about shows about music. You guys ready for it?
What?
You didn't prepare for that?
Shows about what?
I'm joking. It's movies about video games. That's the topic today. Video game movies.
What would be a show about music, though?
I mean,
I'm
there was that
trying
one.
to think.
There was the one that Devontae mentioned on the best shows of the decade, the Get Down.
Oh, the Get Down.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just
okay.
about the genre. Yeah.
There's Empire on Fox. That's one about music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, why don't we do that? Let's.
All right, let's talk about it right here, right now. We're all prepared.
I've watched neither of those shows, so. So video game movies. I figured we could start off by kind of going from when they started and then getting caught up till today. Does that work?
Sure.
Cool, because I was going to do it anyways. So we could say, catching myself, I'm noticing these uhs. We could say that the first video game movie was Super Mario Bros. In 1993. Have we all heard about this?
I've heard about it.
Yep.
Heard it, seen it.
Did you know there was a webcomic sequel in 2012 and the original writer of the script was involved?
A webcomic sequel?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody wanted that. Do you guys know the plot of that movie?
No.
Well, Devontae said he saw it, so probably.
Yeah.
I tell you, sometimes you can see a movie so bad you still don't
it
know
was
the
a
plot.
really bad movie.
There's people being born from eggs. Toad plays a guitar. There's de-evolution guns and goop. There's some goop in there.
Brian's worst enemy, the Goop.
The goop. You gotta fear the goop, man.
Brian the Goop Maloney. Why not?
You're
the Goop now.
I'm like Batman. I'm what I fear the most.
Yeah.
I embody it.
So what happened in Super Mario Brothers?
Devontae, you want to try?
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's cross-dimensional stuff. Bowser is called Koopa, and he's like an evil guy, and he gets turned into a T-Rex, and then Goop, and it ends
There's a
with
whole lot of...
It ends with two Japanese game developers deciding to make a game about Iggy and Spike, who are the two guys who were on King Koopa's side and then switched, and they call it the Super Koopa Cousins, and that's how the movie ends.
Next movie.
I don't have too much about them, but there was a Street Fighter movie that has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's not worth it. And then Mortal Kombat had two, the first one in 95, and then Annihilation in 97, which has a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. A solid 2%. So things weren't looking good at the start. It's amazing that any other video game movies got made. But they did. Moving into the next decade, in the 2000s, it was the decade of franchises. You had Tomb Raider, which of course has been rebooted recently, but they had those ones with Angelina Jolie. You got Resident Evil, which had quite a few. Devontae, I know you're a big Resident Evil guy. Did you see those movies?
I saw them, but I really didn't like them that much.
I was very curious because as I looked into it, it sounded like they were kind of close to the source material with Umbrella Corporation and all the characters. And...
That's about it. Only Umbrella is like close to, but even then, it's like a stretch because they like, oh, Umbrella exists, but here's some crap character that we don't care about.
Yeah, from what I remember, they also occasionally pull out random video game characters into the movie, but they have nothing to do with their actual.
So they just stole their names and just.
They finally included Leon Kennedy, was probably the most popular Resident Evil character besides Jill Valentine, and the last 2 movies they made, and he did nothing. He was just a background character.
Does it upset you to know that they've made over $1 billion and are the highest grossing video game film franchise?
That's gross.
There's also a lot of those movies, though.
Yes, I believe they have 6. There are 6 of them from 2002 to 2017. They lasted 15 years.
Yeah, so to be frank, if we get a second Sonic movie, that'll probably stop being the highest video game franchise,
that's a good point. That's a real good point. We also have the Sonic Hill ones. Devontae, are those good?
The Silent Hill. I think there's 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw the first one. It was okay.
Don't see the second one. It has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, like the first one was okay. But then again, I think it's hard to, at least early on, portray Silent Hill based on, when did the first one come out?
2006.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Did they have Pyramid Head Dude in there?
I believe they did. But I think it was only briefly, and it was kind of weird because it was like inside of a church, and you're like, what is going on? You're like, why is he inside of a church? He's usually like outside on the street or like inside that hospital building, but whatever.
What was I going to say about that? I forgot already. We can just edit that out. Tom does as I say, all right? The next one would be Hitman, which I'm assuming no one here has seen Hitman.
Nope.
You don't need to. But one thing that I found interesting is that one of the producers for the films in 2015, Adrian Ascari, said he wanted to create a universe with the games Thief, Tomb Raider, Just Cause, and Deus Ex. But in 2017, it was basically confirmed that no work had been done to combine them since they don't own the rights to Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider is the only one that's had a movie since, so probably not going to happen. But I mean, it'd be cool.
Yeah, to have them all linked together, that'd be pretty cool.
Have an MCU of video games.
Hey, maybe they'll do that with Nintendo.
I mean, maybe. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
The next franchise, which is easily the largest, would be the Pokemon animated films, which I didn't write down how many there are. I wrote down how many different series of movies they have. Which, granted, they're kind of just 2 episodes tied together. Is that fair to say? Just 2 half-hour.
Some of them.
Some of them, yeah. I guess some of them are a little bit more in depth than a normal episode would be.
I mean, when they kicked it off with the first one, and then 2000, and then 3, and Forever, and all that, they were like kind of events, and then it just kind of spiraled from there.
It tends to be about whatever new legendaries are in the new gen. Give each of those legendaries a movie. Sometimes combine them into one movie.
Have you guys ever seen any of them past like the first 2?
I've seen parts. I saw whatever
3 and
one.
4.
So I remember the one with Entei was 3, right?
Yeah,
saw
one with
that
Entei,
one.
and 4 is Celebi.
Oh, I remember.
Giovanni like tries to kidnap Celebi, makes that weird like, I don't know, Forest monster machine thing. It was really weird. But
I saw parts of the movie with Latios and Latias. And
is that Heroes?
Oh,
I think that's the one after.
Okay.
I think there's like a weird like romance plot with Ash and Latias or something. I can't remember very well though. Because Latias takes on the form of like a little girl.
Oh, that's weird.
Tom is saying that does happen.
I don't know why Pokemon continually tries to bridge the gap between people and Pokemon and have like we were talking on the Pokemon episode where there's that one Pokemon that's like the mask of like dead children or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like why you gotta make that? It's not comfortable.
Yeah, I kind of like that though.
But
I kind of like
dead
that
children
one.
masks. That's what you like.
It's just like it. Okay,
It's creepy.
well,
It gives it gives it a little soul.
Yeah, they have to explain ghost Pokemon somehow.
They could just be dead Pokemon. They gotta be dead people.
I think it's
then they're all
interesting.
like the same.
I think it's just like
Okay.
it's it makes it much more convoluted because they don't have a lot of good ways to explain it, and like I think it just leaves you with a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only bad part.
That's fair. Anything else you guys want to add about Pokemon?
The only thing about Pokemon, I wish that they would stick to the Pokédex lore. Like, I want to see, like, a Drifloon in the background carrying a kid and someone freaking out. Like, why are, like, they're like, oh, watch out for the Drifloon that's going to steal your child. But in the freaking animated movies, they're, like, best friends with the kids.
Yeah,
like,
every kid's walking around with a Drifloon.
Yeah, I was like, where's the one that's going to kidnap him that I should be worried about?
It's like following the ice cream truck or, like, playing the song.
Yeah.
Like, Drowsies are legitimately eating people's dreams and
like
screwing up their psychology.
You want a horror Pokemon movie?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That's what you want.
Not necessarily, but like to follow what they say to be worried about. Like, where's
Pokemon are
like
too
Giovanni's like Hypno actually like tormenting people like for serious?
Or like the Pokemon that are like crazy heavy, and you're like, why does like Ash have that Pokemon on his head? Like that thing is 600 pounds, according to the
How did
Pokedex.
you just not die?
Okay, that's fair. Maybe they make so much movies they could change. Other movies that were during this time, like the 2000s, we had Doom, Far Cry, Max Payne, Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li, and Tekken. Why do fighting games get so many movies?
They shouldn't.
There's no plot. Like most of those games don't have that great of a plot or no plot at all. Why did they pick fighting games?
I don't know. I mean, they have like similar plot, but it's literally like a 10-second cutscene.
I would say if they're going to ever give a fighting game a movie, I think Injustice would be a good one.
Yeah.
Because that's a fighting series that has a plot to it about Superman becoming an evil despot and Batman trying to stop him by calling people versions of the Justice League from another universe to help him. I was like, that'd be a cool plot to a movie.
That'd be a nice movie to see. Yeah, I mean, none of these movies did well. None of the fighter ones. No. I mean, maybe they're like cult classics, but they're not.
I can
beloved in a
see
good
them
way.
retrying Mortal Kombat again because Mortal Kombat actually has like a story mode in the newest game that. Well, they've always had a story mode that you can follow, but it was kind of convoluted. But in this most recent one, they go back in time and fix everything. Kind of like
Days of Future Past.
Yes, they do that basically and fix everything, and then they're continuing the story, which is probably going to be in the next Mortal Kombat after this. Which I could see them trying it again, but most likely it's going to be crappy because they can't figure out fighting movies.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep barking up that tree.
I was just looking up some of the video game movies, and I came across there was a Need for Speed movie apparently.
Yeah, so let's get into the what I like to call the third wave of them since like 2010. It's kind of like a renaissance where they got bigger. I don't know why, because sometimes they weren't as good, but you have like Prince of Persia where they had what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal was in that. Need for Speed had I think Aaron Paul, right?
It had Aaron Paul, and it had Michael Keaton in it apparently too.
Michael Keaton
and Rami Malek. Was in it too.
He's an Oscar-winning actor.
Yeah, they had good actors, and apparently, so one of the actresses in that her name is Imogen Poots, and I think that's a really cute last name. So I looked her up, and she's very attractive. She's cute, but her middle name. So it says her full name is Imogen Gay Poots. What a hard name to live with.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little rough.
Can you imagine like sitting down for lunch with your coworker? It's like, oh, your baby daughter was born. What's the name you went with? Imogen Gay. Okay, all right, it's different.
You don't like that baby very much, do you?
It's a boy named Sue situation. Give them a hard time growing up. They'll be tough enough to make it through.
Well, apparently she flowered. She's in movies and she's very attractive. So
it works.
She should be making fun of me. All right, let's end it there.
Yeah,
it's over.
No, we also had the Warcraft movie, which granted didn't do amazing, but I feel like there was a lot of talk about that one. And it's the 33 biggest movie ever in China, which is, lower on the list, but it still did pretty well there.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I'm sure it did better overseas than here because Warcraft is popular, but not as popular in America.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to make a whole movie on it and try to go globally, was kind of a stretch, I would say, in my opinion.
It was 2 years ago. The director Duncan Jones tweeted that the possibility of a sequel is not looking good,
Yeah.
and that was 2 years ago. So, R.I.P. They tried. We also had the Assassin's Creed movie with what's his name? The guy from
Michael
bad with
Fassbender.
Thank you, Michael Fassbender was in that. Apparently, it wasn't that good. 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Ratchet and Clank had one. Angry Birds counts. It's a movie about a video game.
Made some good money too, from what I remember.
I'm sure it did
Earned themselves a
pretty
sequel.
well.
So we got to talk about that. The first Angry Birds came out in 2016 and has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. The second one came out last year and has a 73%. That's pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen it, but it's apparently not trash. That's
Maybe we should watch
71%
it.
higher than that one fighting movie I was talking about earlier. A Rampage counts with The Rock.
Yeah, that I actually saw the movie.
Was it good?
It
also
wasn't
saw
bad. Yeah, like it wasn't bad, but like I just wish that it had. Well, no, they kind of hinted towards the mouse coming. I think they're gonna have a second movie.
Yeah.
So they only
Wait,
had
the
like
mouse?
the blue rat that you can play as in Rampage.
Yeah.
There's a blue rat.
I'm not remembering
There's
it well.
the monkey, and then like there's the green alligator, and then
wolf.
and the wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they were hinting towards a blue rat the whole movie. The scientist carrying a rat the whole time. I kind of wish that they saw the monsters like grabbing people and eating them. That's the most fun part when you do it in the video game. It's like you just grab them, eat them. Like,
Wait, is
Movie's just kind of like mindless entertainment.
Yeah, yeah.
It's definitely not like a thinker.
I think it more relates towards the two monsters at a time than actually what the game was about. When it's like they were kind of tormenting the city, it was kind of like the monsters were fighting each other rather than they're tormenting the city and they kind of have to,
I would love to
save the
see
city.
of the sequel be a thinker and have us really think about who was the real monsters. Was it mankind or the enormous ape and all that stuff?
That was kind of how this one was, I
Really?
think. Yeah.
Oh
'cause
yeah.
The Rock was friends with the monkey. It was like his
And
like
the
best friend. And
evil
then
U.S. government wanted to take.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We also got to talk about Detective Pikachu that came out last year. The 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I just watched it this week to make sure I was caught up with the video game movie world, and it's so respectful to the source material. There could be more things done with it, but I love the CG. I really don't like how it made me feel about Lickitungs. Lickitung was one of my favorite one, and then you actually see how gross their tongue is when it's like dripping with saliva and yeah, I felt about how Devonta, you felt about the tails in Avatar.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, but God, every Pokemon in that movie looks way cuter than you think they would.
Yeah,
It's
until
like-
the Apams get angry.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that would be terrifying. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would say I really like Detective Pikachu, but I wish that it was like a city. Or they mentioned like the Pokemon League at the beginning of the movie.
Did they? I didn't miss that.
Yeah, because how Justice Smith, his character he wanted to become a Pokemon master at one point, and then
Right,
he stopped.
yeah.
Because he wanted to be a normal human being, but they show no signs of Pokemon battles or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that underground shady like Pokemon fight. It's like, why is it hidden? Shouldn't that just be a thing that they can do, have Pokemon battles?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
That's pretty
I think they
common.
talk about how like the city that they were in was supposed to be like a harmony, like they're not for
But
our entertainment kind of
they're
thing.
in the Sinnoh League, like they're in the Sinnoh region. Every city,
What city was that from? Was that Gen 4?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know Gen 4 too well because was it Rhyme City?
yeah. But even then, that's like the biggest city in the game, I'm pretty sure. So how is that like? Never mind.
Yeah.
They're
I
loosely
think,
adapted.
if I remember correctly, though, this movie did well enough that they're planning on doing like actual adaptions of the main games now.
Yeah,
So we might see a
obviously.
live action story about red and blue facing off against each other and taking on the Indigo League. And
Yeah, that would be a Pokemon movie I want to see.
I
Yeah.
feel comfortable saying that it's my favorite video game movie. It's really enjoyable. I mean, Ryan Reynolds alone doing the voice of Pikachu. It was, other than having Danny DeVito as Pikachu, which everyone wanted, it was perfect. There was a
I
petition.
would say that he was a very good Pikachu.
There's some really funny lines in there. I'm like addicted to caffeine and everything. So also, the newest video game movie just came out, and Pat Devante and I just saw it, Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going to spoil it a little bit as we talk about it, but what'd you guys think?
I enjoyed it. It was fine. Definitely a children's movie, so there's a lot of like standard, like let's be
Slapstick,
silly,
fart
and stuff
humor,
like
yeah.
that. I think that they should have used a little more music from the video games. They were very stereotypical with the soundtrack, but Devante was suggesting he thinks the sequel might go into different different areas more, which might allow them to start pulling from the actual soundtrack from the games instead of focusing on the real world. And I really liked the performances of Ben Schwartz as Sonic and Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. A lot of people talk about how it feels like old Jim Carrey, where he's just wacky and over the top. And
Reminded me a lot of him as the Grinch.
yes, yeah, he's got that evil, like. What about you, Devante? You're the big. I mean, Sonic's on your arm and a tattoo, so I feel like
So I actually really like this movie a lot. Obviously, and I think that they portrayed Sonic the best way they could. Because I think most people see Sonic as an adult, which in the case he is not.
He had a very childlike
He
sense.
is a child.
Yeah.
So I think in this movie he is supposed to be about 15 years old or so. 15, 14 years old, which probably explain, how he was so hyper and couldn't really stop talking, all that stuff like that. But I thought it did a really good job. I mean, there's a lot of Easter eggs in the movie that you would only know if you played most of the Sonic games, not all of them.
So help us out here, because I didn't catch any.
Okay. So I mean, the easiest one that you probably saw and didn't think about is when Sonic gets hit when he's holding the rings, he loses the rings.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
He had to, and right before when he came off the building, right before Eggman starts chasing,
He picks them all up.
He picks them all up and runs away.
Yeah.
So like that's probably the first Easter egg, and then another one are the worlds he's talking about.
Okay.
The Mushroom World is Mushroom Hell Zone from Sonic and Knuckles, and I think that's one of the first times, other than Sonic 3, that you see Knuckles actually in the game. So that's I think. Well, you see the Knuckles tribe at the beginning of the movie, the Echidna tribe, but I think that's going to be a way they're going to introduce Knuckles.
Those were all
Echidnas. So that's another thing you wouldn't know unless you play Sonic Adventure. They introduce a whole tribe of Echidnas who are related to the I actually forget her name. The one that's basically really close to Chaos in the game, and they were the tribe that were chasing down Sonic at the beginning of the game.
Okay. So is Knuckles kind of that, like, he's from the dark side character and he's turned into Leaf, but he's still like our damaged hero? Because that's
basically, yeah. So that's how it is. So you meet
he's
Knuckles.
Vegeta.
Yeah, him and Sonic don't like each other because he came from the clan that was basically trying to get rid of Sonic, and then they become friends. And people are thinking that the echidna that shot the owl is Knuckles. Because that's going to give Sonic and Knuckles a reason not to like each other, because Knuckles has always been older than Sonic too.
So, yeah, we said that we were going to spoil a little bit. At the end, Tails shows up.
Yes.
Do you think they include Knuckles in the next movie too?
I think so. So I think the next movie is going to be involved with them finding the Chaos Emeralds, which is basically the big thing for Sonic the Hedgehog. So I think they're going to be going to all of these different worlds that were on the map that he had at the beginning of the movie, which included the Mushroom Zone, which is how Dr. Robotnik is going to get out of there. So he has the coil right now, but I think he's going to be... You see he's making something on his back right now. I think he's going to use the coil and a Chaos Emerald to be able to come back to Earth and then chase Sonic through the loops again.
We have to talk about Ben Schwartz being just perfect.
Oh, yeah. He was great.
He signaled the John Ralphio without, like, the John Ralphio-ness of it, I guess. He had the energy. He had the excitement. I never realized how that's exactly how Sonic would talk in my head. That's just perfect.
I think that Ben Schwartz did a really good job playing Sonic, because I think he had the kind of like Sonic's more like kind of like hockey. So he knew he's fast, he knows he's good, but he also portrayed that he didn't know what really consequences were until like towards the end of the movie, and I thought he did a really good job. Yeah,
absolutely. So the thought I had right from the start of the movie actually was this is the video game version of the MCU starting.
I would say so, because I think there's a Mario movie actually playing like an animated one. Or
I have a list here of what's coming up soon, but even from the start, they had like a shot of like a Sonic video game, and then it zooms out and it's a whole bunch of different video games, and it's just like a Sega original movie production. I'm like, why would you come up? That's their flipping the comic book Marvel thing. Like,
it is, yeah, because those are all Sega games, obviously.
I mean, they have the power to. This movie did very well.
Yeah, I think out of all of the video game movies, this has the best audience review on Rotten Tomatoes.
The audience score is 94%.
Nice.
I mean, it's that's what the biggest thing is. It's faithful to the material.
Yeah.
They bring up the Sonic drawing. He talks about liking chili dogs.
Easter dog. Yeah, chili dogs is another Easter egg. The spin dash. So, like, you know, when he gets electricity, basically to blow out the whole town, that is like the light spin dash that you get in the 3D Sonic games. So in the 3D Sonic games, of like he usually gets it by charging in the ball, and then he can stand up afterwards. But they did a different take on it, which I think is pretty cool, just to saw that just inside of him already. But he usually goes blue in the video games, and then, you know, can basically do like the rapid homing attack he did on Eggman at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So is he going to be golden flying in the next one, you think?
Once he gets those Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, if they don't plan on being a trilogy, then yes, I would think he'll get all 7 Chaos Emeralds the next movie and then turn into Super Sonic.
Okay, fair enough. So
they got to keep going until they get Big the Cat.
So who?
Big the Cat.
Big the Cat?
I don't know if they go that far, but that would be pretty cool.
My boy Big gonna go fishing.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I didn't know his name, but I didn't realize his name was just Big. So we've been talking about these like upcoming ones. So I general ideas of like, are these going to be good? They're remaking the first Pokemon movie as a 3D kind of CG remake on Netflix. Is coming out on Pokemon Day in 4 days, actually. Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. You guys think it's going to be pretty good? Kind of the same thing that we had back when we were kids?
I think it'd be all right. I mean, it's just a different animation style. I don't know if they're changing the story too much. I think it's going to be kind of like what they're doing like that SpongeBob movie when Gary goes missing again somehow.
Yeah.
And it's just a different animation.
Yeah, they just pretend that they didn't already have an episode about Gary going missing.
Yeah, that's like, what?
It's fine. It's fine. We'll eat it up. We also, I mean, I don't think anybody here cares about Monster Hunter. That's supposedly coming out in September this year.
I actually play Monster Hunter. I think it'd be pretty cool to see. I think that's another movie that's going to do really well in Europe and Japan than it will in America.
Yeah,
because those games are like twice as big over there, especially Monster Hunter.
Oh, the newest one like sold like crazy. Yes, right? It's a big game.
Yeah, and then even then that sold pretty well in America because it was a way for new players to get introduced to it. So I think it'd do pretty well, but not as good as it will overseas.
Okay. Mortal Kombat is getting rebooted in January of 2021.
Oh, okay.
That's coming because fighting game movies have to happen. I guess it's just how things work. This one's been delayed a little bit, but supposedly the Uncharted movie's coming out in March of 2021.
I've been hearing a lot more buzz about that recently. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Tom Holland was saying that it's going to take a lot of inspiration from Uncharted 4, which focuses a lot on his relationship with his brother. So maybe his brother will be a character in the movie because it's like an origin story.
Yes.
Kind of. So we know it'll be about him and like young Sully and
played by Mark Wahlberg.
Sully. Is it going to be Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to see that. I'll be honest. I really don't.
Tom Holland says he's great.
I don't enjoy Mark Wahlberg at all. So
it's happening. Tomb Raider 2 is coming out same year. The Uncharted and the Tomb Raider movies are coming out in the same month.
They're the same exact film.
Yeah.
This is the same exact thing.
Wait, they're doing another Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Same cast?
I think so.
As the first movie, the one that recently came out?
Got to be the same actress that's Mark
Ruffalo. So
cool.
that one ends on the cliffhanger. Spoilers, but Pat, when you find out like her aunt is actually working with the what's the government called that was really bad?
I can't remember the name.
Villain, so
evil organization.
Yeah, when you find out she's
Trinity.
working with
Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity. Yes, when she finds out her aunt is working for Trinity, that's when the movie ended.
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
So they went through the whole first video game of the recent one we played when they go to the Asian country.
Yeah.
So they did. That's the one the movie is based on.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna go from there.
We also have the Minecraft movie coming out in 2022. Pat's so excited.
No, not at all.
Minecraft movie.
So hold on. There's been a long list of directors for this, including Rock McElhenney, the guy from It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny.
I remember it was going to be Rob McElhenney, and I was excited when I heard that because he's awesome.
Do you know who it is now?
Who?
Peter Solit, the guy who did Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Interesting.
Ooh,
I was like,
that used to be one of my favorite movies. I used to really like that.
I remember you loving that
yeah.
movie.
Hindsight, not the best, but
that's our next topic episode.
Not a big Kat Dennings and
Michael
Cera fan anymore.
Yeah. Andy Samberg was in that movie too, for
Is
for like
he really?
a second. Yeah.
Nice.
So we got the Detective Pikachu sequel that's in the works. There's a Borderlands movie in the works. Eli Roth, the guy who did Hostel, is the director. Avi Arad, who produced the Spider-Verse film, he's going to be producing it. And the writer is going to be Craig Mazin, who worked on Chernobyl.
Cool.
Nice. So I'm guessing it's gonna be animated. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I don't know.
If it's live action, they have to make them look like comic book characters. It can't. Then it just looks like Mad Max.
I could see it being like almost treated like a parody of Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
Go like
Yeah.
super over the top and weird with it.
That'd be cool.
Otherwise, it'll look like a massive ripoff.
Yeah. That's what I was like. It has to be over the top, or they might get Sonic the Hedgehog and people complain about it when they don't look like comic book characters.
The Mario Brothers one that you were talking about, it's being made by Illumination Studios, who do Despicable Me and Sing. And Miyamoto is co-producing it, so I at least have faith. I mean, you can talk about how Minions aren't that enjoyable, but the animation's beautiful, and Miyamoto is co-producing it, so they're gonna be respectful, right?
Well, yeah, they have to. I mean,
Will Mario not talk the whole time? Will it be our silent protagonist?
Mario talks sometimes.
It's a me.
He should. He should
Yeah.
have the ability to
No,
speak.
he talked a little bit in Sunshine.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they're broken. It's like broken English, but he talks a little bit more.
So another one I got to bring up, Devontae, is they're rebooting Resident Evil, and Johannes Roberts is directing. He did 47 Meters Down.
Okay.
He said it'll be faithful to the games and,
Nice.
in quotes, super, super scary.
Yes, that's what it should be.
I hope there's a
should
lot of
feel
like
nervous.
tight hallways
Yeah.
and like what's around the corner.
You should
That's
feel
the best
nervous
part
the
of
whole
those.
movie.
I want to get chased by that Nemesis dude.
Yeah,
Or what's
it
his
shouldn't
who's
be
the
an
guy?
action film.
I hope it's based on the best one, Resident Evil 6.
Oof.
Super actiony, a lot of weird mutant zombies.
And then,
Yeah, when zombies are picking up guns and shooting back at you.
Yeah.
oh, what? Ugh.
Instead of you being afraid of them, slowly creeping up on you.
Getting
I'd
a
like
bite
for
out.
them to connect the Umbrella Corporation and Umbrella Academy. I'd like that.
Go Netflix with movies, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I do got to mention these that are just sitting in production, so they probably won't have. Maybe they will, though. There's stuff working on Gears of War, Mega Man, Metal Gear Solid, Call of Duty, Fruit Ninja, and Tetris.
What about Halo? There's a rumored big Halo thing.
That's
for a
been going on
long
for so
time.
long. Like,
Massive
Spielberg was
development hell.
tied to that, right?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Halo would have been like, if they could do it right, that would have been a really good movie. I hope,
And I know everyone wants for a Gears movie Dave Bautista as
Yeah,
Marcus
Dave
Phoenix.
Bautista has to.
Did they design him off of Dave Bautista? 'Cause
No,
he
not
looks
he.
just like
Marcus Phoenix has been around longer than Dave Bautista's been in the spotlight. So
That's crazy. So
Fruit Ninja?
Fruit Ninja, which the age of the app game is like changed. Like they're not those like Angry Birds, Fruit Ninja, all that stuff's changed. Now it's just like the point and click and get your coins kind of game.
And Fruit
like,
Ninja's not even that popular anymore.
No,
Yeah, it's like-
that's what. Yeah,
At least with like Angry Birds, you always knew it was the birds versus the pigs, right? So like
I mean they might have silently canceled this thing 2 years ago, but they haven't put out that it's canceled. So
Fruit Ninja?
supposedly they're working on it. So I guess a big question I've got for you guys is what games deserve a movie? What could you see working?
Halo and Gears, I think both are plot-based, action-based, and would especially Halo, which is so cinematic as it is, could easily carry a film franchise. Especially, you don't even need to make it set in the same world. I think Halo Reach, you don't even need to make it about the main games. Halo Reach proved that as long as it's set in the same world and about the War with the Covenant, featuring Spartan characters in a losing war, it could be very compelling a plot on its own. I do think though that I would love to see the story of Cortana and Master Chief brought to life. So that would be a good one. BioShock as a good horror series would be great. We've talked about that before.
Not looking likely.
In the BioShock episode, but yeah, it doesn't look very likely.
I would love a Zelda one, and I know that that doesn't make much sense. Being having Link talk alone would be weird. And there was that. Do you guys remember the April Fool's video that went up, the trailer? That was like maybe 10 years ago or so, but it looked all realistic. But it could just be set in that world. Maybe it's not tied to a game at all. Maybe it's about like Link's mentor, and then at the end he trains Link. Maybe it's based on Zelda. Just something set in the world itself is interesting.
Yeah, I could definitely agree to that. So I think that would probably be best as like a Netflix show, kind of how like they were doing with The Witcher, because the universes are so vast and so in depth that if they make an hour and a half movie,
build that world, yeah,
it's gonna be like, oh, okay, Link, you just found out who Link was, and now he's fighting Ganon.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, maybe it's about Ganon, the rise of Ganon. That would be cool.
That would be cool, and see how he gets comes up in the Gerudo Valley and everything.
How he gets his, Triforce of Power thing.
Why he's like the only dude there.
Yeah.
Why can he turn into a pig?
Yeah. Like, why does he choose to turn into a pig?
So going back to Tom Holland really quick.
Just maybe Joey has something to say.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe I have a movie.
Maybe I don't want to listen to what Joey's got to say.
I also had something else I wanted to add, but finish.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I haven't played a lot of it yet, but I know a lot of people who really like The Division, and I could see that being a movie pretty easily, I guess.
Yeah.
That got rumored pretty quickly when it was released.
Oh,
but
really?
Then I don't think the game series took off the way they wanted it to.
Oh, okay. So I could see that, and then my all-time favorite, Altered Beast.
Bring it back as a movie.
Yeah.
It would be like a half-hour movie.
Joey's the only one in the theater. He's crying his eyes out. It's completely empty.
I also wanted to bring up that ever since Disney purchased Star Wars and got the rights to everything, there have been rumors for a film adaptation of Knights of the Old Republic for a long time.
Really good idea.
There's been recently rumors that they're just going to remake it, which would be just as popular.
Also a good idea.
But it could be pretty interesting. At the very least, I could see inspiration taken from that game if they ever make some old Republic films, which I'm sure they will at some point.
Oh yeah, I mean they're gonna keep building out that universe. I guess so. Going back to Tom Holland a little bit, he was talking about the Uncharted movie and kind of saying how you make good video game movies that are faithful to the source material and not trying to adapt the games, but just related to it. They're not trying to make Uncharted 2 a movie. They're trying to make an origin story for the game. So if you're interested, you can still tie it into things. So I think that's the goal of what could make a good video game movie.
I can agree to that. I mean, because that's why I love the Sonic movie so much, because it has so many Easter eggs that relate to all the games I've been playing since '92. So I would definitely agree that it doesn't have to be the exact copy. Just as long as it appeals to what you need people to be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, they make the stories for games to fit across like a 15-hour campaign with most of it being spent just shooting random guys coming along, not watching cutscenes. Unless it's a Kojima game, then basically is all cutscenes. Anything else to add?
Oh, I thought of another movie for the video game. I really liked.
It's looking like we're out of time, so we're.
Oh God. I think it was called Republic Commando. I really liked playing that game for our Xbox.
Oh, Star Wars one, right?
Yeah, Star Wars one.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool
that's
ideas.
I got one more. So, with all these, basically protagonists that are coming out that don't really talk, I think Crash Bandicoot would be a good movie to come out for. Like, he has the nemesis that's been going on throughout his own games. He just had the remaster come out. And I think they're planning for a new Crash Bandicoot game, like an original one that's not a remake, to be coming out pretty soon. And I think it'd be a great way to introduce him to children, since he's kind of gimmicky. He's basically Tasmanian Devil. Mm-hmm. But
I think we need more animated movies too for video games.
Yeah.
And Crash would be a great animated.
I'm in only if Spyro shows up in the mid-credit sequence.
Damn it. I was going to say Spyro.
All right. So thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of mashup of two of our big things together there. Talk about us on social media. Share us with your friends and your family and your eye doctor. Maybe they'll like us. I don't know. And if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, let us know. We're open to any ideas. We still got those listening goals. If one of our episodes gets 50 listens, we'll do a drunk episode. If we get 25 subscriptions on YouTube, we'll raffle off a $25 Amazon gift card. And if we get 25 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts, there's a mystery surprise. So who knows? Until then, though, Tom, what are we going to talk about next time?
Our next topic for next week will be the secret meaning behind the game Pong. Is it really just a game of table tennis, or is it a secret message for fighting the Soviet Union?
I'm really interested now. That sounds really cool. But I guess we'll have to wait, because until then...
Now we're going to hit pause.